Well, good Saturday evening, folks. Um, I was working all day today. I was at Oakland Technology Exchange, except for now they took the Oakland out of the name and they just do the Technology Exchange part of it as their name. But anyway, yeah, it's kind of cool. But as I was saying, was there today. They were doing their free computer thing, and of course, I was volunteering to help because they're having to move. Which is part of why it looks so kind of messy today. But anyway, had a good time there. We gave away a lot of computers, and of course, they gave me one. And they let me choose, and because I was there doing the volunteer work, they let me choose ahead of everybody else. They did give me some recommendations on which one I should get, and I love them. God bless them. They've done me right. They try to do everybody right. I got a lot of stuff from them today. I can never seem to have enough power strips. That's one thing I just can't get enough of for some reason. Well, they had so many power strips sitting there that they were throwing them away, and some of them were brand new. They were just had a light film of dust on it. They'd never been used, you could tell. So I grabbed about a dozen of them. Why not? They're free. All sorts of cable connectors. I got some Apple products. Got some nice Apple keyboards. I don't know how old they are or anything, but they're USB. So I was like, why not? Hey, boom. I love it. Nothing wrong with it. Just covered in a light film of dust. I got about 4 of those. I got a friend who has a Apple laptop, so I was like, hell, I'll get a couple and give them 1 or 2. Just had a good time. I got a couple of video projectors. They have one there that I should have grabbed, but I had no real need for it. I couldn't use it. I mean, to get a picture that was decently sized, you had to have the thing at least 100 or so feet away minimum. But it's a projector like they use in the movie theaters. So that was kind of cool. It's actually what it came out of was a movie theater. And it works. So I got a couple of smaller ones to use. I've got them over there on the shelf right now. But today, I think what I'm going to do right now is we're going to set up this computer I got today and see what we can do with that, and we'll go from there. It's running Windows 10 Professional, and it's by Omnipro, the case is, so it's got everything in there. It's supposed to be it's supposed to be a real good computer to start with. It's got a AMD A series CPU core in it. Dang phone. When I said AMD A series, my phone lit up because it's looking for, it hears that and thinks it's Siri I'm calling, which is kind of funny. But anyway, it's supposed to be a very good processor. These were actually donated to them by Contra Costa County, and Tech Exchange, they take it and they start fresh. They wipe the motherboard or the hard drives and everything, and they install a newer version of Windows, which these here came with Windows 10 originally, I think. What I'm thinking happened is they were originally upgraded to Windows 10, but the county turned around and decided to upgrade their computers and gave away good computers. So who knows, but I also got it's a very good setup. It actually, which is what's kind of cool, it actually has a HDMI output. and that's really kind of cool for this setup, but I don't know where my HDMI cables are. I know I've got a ton of them around here, but I don't know where they're at right now. So what I did get, let me see if I can adjust camera angles a little bit. Let me see here. See if I can do something a little bit different here. Adjust my angles down. Okay, that's as far as she'll go on that. So we'll go ahead and go back center. Okay. And see if we can't make some adjustments here. Okay. Nice big monitor to go with this. I haven't done anything to this yet. I've just brought it in and set it down. I've got cables for it. I just got to think of where I set them earlier because I come in and I was tired. Oh, yeah. Come on, don't tell me I don't know where I did that. Put it at. Anyway, as I was saying, it's been a long day already to start with, and now I'm just getting everything sorted out. Let me see, did I put that back here maybe? Don't tell me I lost it. I'm moving in my head. Okay, where the frig did I put those? Oh, another thing I'm not too happy with. I actually got a message from YouTube the other day, which doesn't make sense, but they decided they're not going to let me monetize one of my videos. Now, I'm not sure what their reasoning was, but they felt it may not be advertiser friendly, so they decided not to allow me to monetize it. And of course, that kind of stinks, because I was looking forward to having that extra money that I'm not going to have now. And I don't know why I'm thinking it's not going to be much money that I get from the video, because it never is. Ah, shoot. Now where the heck did I put that? And see, that's one thing I don't get. Now, I don't do a lot of cussing in my videos. Hell, I hardly ever do cussing. I try not to anyway, but they turn around and if they did it for cussing, okay, they're wrong. I didn't do an excessive amount of cussing. I try not to cuss. Yes, I know I do cuss some, but I try not to do it too much. But that was just crazy for them to say, oh, well, there's too much of this cussing or whatever. Or whatever their philosophy was for that. Where did my HDMI cable go? I tell you what, y'all. I gotta get this dang shop cleaned out. Bad. Okay, do I need to run upstairs and get another cable, or do I have one down here? Let's see if I got another HDMI or another VGA cable down here. Okay, I know what I'll do. I'm going to steal the VGA cable from my... No, I can't steal it from that because it's attached to that one. Jeez. Where the heck did I put that? Unbelievable. All this stuff. I can't find what I need. Okay. So, now you can see what I'm going through. Literally. Yeah, I know it's a mess in here, and I just haven't had the time to get it cleaned up like I want to. But I do have a cable I can use. It's a digital video or whatever it is. Not what I want to use, but it'll work. This thing has, the monitor has so many dang inputs. It's crazy. DVI-D input. Now, supposedly it's stuff above VGA. And then you have your HDMI, which is even better, or yeah, HDMI cable is better. You also have a digital video input on this, or a what do they call that? A display port. And I don't have it here, but I can. I actually have a cable. Believe it or not, that's kind of funny, that I got that does that port. I don't even know, maybe this computer does the same kind of video output as well for that, which is kind of maybe interesting if it does. Let's see here. Okay. So, this doesn't have that kind of output, but it has other kinds. It even has SATA ports, external for an external SATA drive, which is kind of cool. One of the things that they give you with all this is a brand new keyboard and mouse. They give you power cords to go with it and everything you should need to hook up the computer up. You get. But I think I may have left that. Nope, I did get the mouse and the keyboard. So I shall grab those. Bring those over here. Anyway, I got so much stuff today. It's crazy. They give a lot of stuff away. And they get a lot of stuff given to them that just sits there in their warehouse forever until something happens, like in this case, they're having to move. And realistically, I don't feel it's right why they're having to move, but I can't control that. The property they are currently renting is the people who own it are taking it and they're going to convert it into apartments. And because of that, Technology Exchange has to move. And in a way it's working into their favor because, you know, they're getting rid of stuff they don't need. But at the same time, it's not right because they're not getting, or they're having to pay more rent now for a smaller space. They're going to be paying what they're paying now and half the space. So they're like, yeah, this kind of stinks. Okay, let's get the mouse plugged up. And then I'll get power plugged up to this and we can turn it on and see what she does. I don't have internet connected to it right this minute, so I'm going to have to redo that. Okay, that's a extension to that. Okay, now we got that done. Let us get some power to this stuff, and then we will go from there. Okay. There's that one. Now let's plug up this monitor. Now, let us get this plugged up. Okay. Now, they give you a 1-year warranty on these and all sorts of good stuff, so they're definitely worth it. Let's see. Okay. There we go. Let's see. Turn this back down where y'all can see. No display port cable. Okay, it's looking for a display port cable. So, can't use that. See, they had it set up where it had display port cable, and this doesn't, so I got to figure out how to reset this. Okay, there we go. Now we've got that. So she's not acknowledging that one. Okay, so she should be coming up with something, but she's not. And of course, she don't want to work now. Or is she working? Just not going into Okay, she's not receiving any kind of video. That was weird. She just wasn't acknowledging the mouse and all. See what she does. try to control all this like this to where y'all can see. Wrong one. Okay, now I don't have it set up at the moment for Ethernet, so I am going to have to get that set up. Not a big problem. I've got loads of Ethernet cables today. Just got to figure out which box I put them in. There they are. Got a handful of longer ones. So I can deal with that somewhat easier. And that will allow me to try this. Now I'm not sure what's going to happen when I go do my testing, because it's going to have to, the game I use is not on the computer. I have to, pardon my ugly mug. Come on, quit doing that. Okay, let's see what happens here. Okay, get my mouse back up here where I can control it. Dang it. Okay, so I am connected to my network, my home network. Now there's all sorts of crazy stuff you can do. Change adapter options. Right now I'm on the network 6 Ethernet. So we're good right there right now. Now let's see, I don't like dealing Okay, AMD video quality features are off by default for some applications. Open AMD Catalyst Control Center and apply AMD video quality features to all supported applications for improved playback for third-party video players. I want to go to AMD Catalyst. Let's see. Not giving me much of a screen there. I know y'all can't read it. Adjust settings such as edge enhancement to improve video playback quality. Okay. Okay. I want to do performance. And of course I'm going to overdrive it a little bit. Okay. Okay. Now I'm just going to minimize that for now. I do not like using Google Chrome for my internet. Hell, I don't like Google at all, to speak of really. Found out some stuff about them, which they're associated with YouTube, so they probably will not like me commenting on this. But they actually record everything you say or do. Okay, your searches, all that, they save it and they keep it, even though you've deleted everything and you think it's no longer there. It's there. They have a record of it. And if the feds decide to come back and contact and say, hey, I need for this email account or for this account, I need everything you have from the time they created it. And Google will say, oh, okay, yeah, sure, here you go. They don't have to have a warrant. No kind of search warrant. Because Google likes the law. They feel like the law runs everything. It doesn't matter that that's your private information, your private stuff, your private searches, and that they shouldn't be giving it willingly to the government. The government should be going and having to get a search warrant for that information. But they're not having to with Google. You make a phone call on a Google phone that uses Google, like Androids. They use Google as their primary. That's their deal. Well, what happens? Your phone call is recorded without your knowledge of it. And what really bothers me about this, though, is the fact that the government does not have to have a search warrant to obtain records of your phone calls because they consider it a public domain on a cell phone. And that's not right. Hold it, you're talking to somebody on your phone. You're not talking to them. You're sitting in your house and you're talking to your friend halfway across the country, and they're sitting in their house. But because it's on a cell phone, the government can get at it any time. They can listen in. They can do wiretaps on it. Unlike your house phone, they have to get a wiretap for a warrant for a wiretap, and that's harder to get. They have to show good probable cause to get that. On a cell phone, oh, you want to do a wiretap on their cell phone? Okay, go ahead. Here you go. No probable cause, no nothing. I turn around right now if I was with the government. I'd go and place a wiretap on your cell phone and not have any reason for it, just so I can listen into your phone calls. Would you like that? I know I don't. And that's one of the reasons why, right now, I'm not complaining about owning the iPhone. I'm not a fan of Apple. But I will say this, at least they respect your privacy somewhat. But anyway, now I'm going to get Firefox on here so I don't have to use Google Chrome. I use Firefox because they honor your rights, they honor your privacy. Download Firefox. Now I got to figure out how to do it. There we go. So I'm going to click on install. Firefox is the one internet that I have, when I found out about it, okay, I actually had a guy, I moved back by where my parents live and everything, and the guy that owned the motel that I was living in when I first moved there, I stayed in that motel for about 2 or 3 months at a little over $800 a month, roughly. And the guy, he was one of the best. Okay, me and him became good friends. Uh, he in his motel you can't have a coffee pot, something like that. Now you can have a hot pot to heat up water, but you can't have a coffee maker. Go figure. Or no, you can have a coffee maker, but you can't have a hot plate. Okay, which is kind of funny, but hey, that's the way the fire code is. I mean, they do stupid stuff in the area, and anyway, he let me put a little refrigerator in there, and that's what I kept my cold foods in. I put my milk and stuff in there, and that's how I did it. Use Firefox as my default browser. But anyway, Internet Explorer is still good, but a lot of computers nowadays don't come with Internet Explorer. Yes, close tabs. Okay, now I'm going to take that and drag it down to the taskbar area. I'm going to open that. There's a lot of good stuff I do. Okay, now I've got to remember what games I play so I can get those back on here. Let me get that. It's been a long time since I've done this, so I'm just trying to remember all my stuff. Ay, 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 ay. Been so freaking long. Okay, we'll do World of Warcraft here. No, I'm not going to play it right now. There we go. That's what I wanted. Battle.net. Okay, we're going to go into Firefox again. And go to battle.net. And knowing my luck, y'all are going to have some issues when I start, when this thing starts downloading. Let's see, I can't remember what I did. Been a long time since I've logged in because I don't do much gaming, but there we go. Forgot my passwords. Log into Blizzard. Save. Now I'm gonna get World of Warcraft, which is I'm getting the trial version of it. Kind of interesting doing this. Yeah, I know I'm an old man. Okay. Select a question. Now, this part here, for security questions, I have to hide it from you for a minute. So that would be... no, I don't want... why not? I already have an account. Let's see, I want to... World of Warcraft. Okay. Now what I've done is I'm choosing the World of Warcraft game. It's kind of uses a lot of memory, but what I did was it has the game installer and then the public test realm. Okay, I've requested both of those, and I'm just going to download the one, and then I'm going to minimize that. Now let's see, English US. Okay, it's starting the Blizzard app. World of Warcraft set up. Yes. Now, people don't understand some of this stuff. They're like, how can you figure this out? And it's just, I've always been like that. I can understand this stuff. And of course, bad signal. Install location. Okay. Continue. And what I will do is, once I decide how I'm going to do it, I will put if I keep this one instead and let that one go, I'm going to take this one and install the hard drive, the second hard drive that's in the one I'm on now, into this one. And I'll move my Wi-Fi card and everything, because right now that thing's set up with Ethernet, because I couldn't get the Wi-Fi card to cooperate and become active. This one here doesn't have a fancy video card on it, and I'm not worried about that because it already has a built-in video card that's decent. But decent airflow coming out of the case, not the highest power, but okay, that actually did pretty quick. Tab. Keep me logged in. Log into Blizzard. What the heck? It's supposed to be an uppercase? No? Okay, it's not cooperating and giving me my correct stuff. What the heck's going on here? Okay. Okay, I think I know what's going on. Yeah. There we go. For whatever reason, it didn't take my whole email. It cut off the first half. So I'm not sure what happened there, but try it now. There we go. So whatever reason, I'm definitely going to have to get a bigger hard drive in here if I keep it. Okay. So I'm going to let it do its install. And I'm showing that it's connected, so who knows what's going on with okay, now it's downloading, and that takes a while. So I like to do World of Warcraft because it's a very good representation of the what the computer can do. It draws a lot of processor power, and that, and the fact that it's the only game that I don't have any games that I've bought. I don't play a bunch of games, so it doesn't matter. But it's actually doing pretty decent on download speed. I'm running at 9.31, 9.64 megabytes a second. So I'm running the 10 megabyte range, which is decent. It's actually better than the computer I'm on right now. I have a feeling once I upgrade my modems to a better modem, I'm thinking that's going to change, because right now I'm using basically the cheapest stuff you can get. I mean, it's not the best, it's not the worst, but it's pretty doggone cheap, and most of it was free. So there's that. Okay, make sure everything's plugged up. And see, right now the game is playable, which is pretty decent, but it's a 40 gig download, and this hard drive doesn't have too many gigs free. I mean, it's only got like 120 gigs available right now before I started downloading this. So 11.8 megabytes a second, not too bad. It's actually pretty decent right now. One thing I'm probably going to do is I'll set up another modem in line, and that might help my speeds a little bit, because right now, I don't know, I've got about 50 feet of Ethernet cable. I should be able to run up to 100, but the cable's not the best. I do have another cable to run down here, thankfully, but at the same time I do that, I'm going to be running a new phone cord down here for the fax machine. I'm also going to take my cordless phone We have one of those where it has the base station and then 2 handsets with 1 charging station for the second handset. But we don't use our landline that often. But we've been needing to get us a fax machine because several times we needed to fax stuff or needed to receive a fax. Now I have that capability. But I just got to do that. But I've been working so much, it's crazy. Tomorrow, I'll probably take it a little easier. Oh, another thing I got today that I was given that they were going to throw away. Sony Vaio. I've never dealt with these, so I don't know how well it works. It's got the battery, but, I mean, tiny little screen. Okay, that's fine. It'll work for me for the small stuff. When I'm needing to do a quote on a job, I can just take this and type in what I need, and I've got a file automatically. Problem is, the power supply is 10.5 volts DC in. I have to find a power supply for this. That's why they were thrown away, because they didn't know where the power supply was. I'm going to take it and find the power supply and get it working, hopefully. But even if the battery is no good, cool thing is, even if the battery is no good, I can take and buy a new battery by simply typing in the information I need. Really all it does is you type in the model number, and it'll pop up. Which is cool. VGP-BPS15/B. Then I still got to find the charger part for it, but that's no big deal. And the cool thing is, it actually runs Windows 7 Home Premium, which is a pretty good version of Windows. 11.77 to 11.75 in that range. That's not too bad. This is actually the best download speeds I've gotten in a long time. The internet here for us is not very good. Their cabling is not very good. I've got a decent modem, or a router. No, it'll be modem. Anyway, I got a decent modem. It's a lower end. It's supposed to do pretty good on your internet speeds, your download speeds. But we have so much in line on this, it's ridiculous. The next one I get, I will probably go ahead and get one that does Wi-Fi, has Wi-Fi built into it. And that will resolve a lot of our issues. But at the same time, that only does good if the cabling to the building's good, and it's not very good. They haven't done stuff right. Just plain outright ridiculousness. And literally the only time I can get Comcast to acknowledge that something's wrong here is by simply telling them, hey, either you fix it or I'm going to have to change our internet provider. I mean, this is ridiculous. We're paying for this to get the high-speed internet. It's supposed to be the fastest home internet, but it keeps cutting out. It doesn't reach its full potential. You know, what's going on here? And then their modems, yeah, they're good at first. They work real nice. But then after a couple months, all of a sudden, boom, they go down, they cut back. And it's like something's deliberately holding them back. And I hate that. So, I've already loaded just a hair under 5 gigs. Not too bad. Whoa. Now, I'm trying to be patient and wait on this, but I want to get you some of the video of the camera cabling I'm running over there at that motel down the street that I'm working at. The guy's got me doing his putting in new cameras for him. He got a nice new DVR, and he got himself a handful of cameras. I don't know how many he got all together, but he's only putting out like, I don't know, let me think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think 10 of the new cameras, and then the rest are going to be the nicer of the old cameras, which are they're still good. They're good cameras. But me, I would have just went ahead and since he already has the cameras to do all of them new, I just put all new cameras in. But that's the difference between me and him. Just I try to do things right. Now I'm not doing his job cheap. I'm doing it the way he wants. He doesn't want to run the cabling through conduit because if something happens and the cable messes up and he has to replace the cable, it's harder to do it going through conduit. I can understand that. But at the same time, nothing's going to happen to it because it's all protected the way I've done it. I ran the cabling through, what he was going to do is mount the cameras next to these original electrical junction boxes where they just knocked one of the holes out and ran the old cable in and then ran that cable in the other hole and connected them with the correct connectors. And the problem is those metal boxes are not watertight. Moisture gets in there, bugs get in there, all sorts of craziness. And of course, because water can get in there from the rain, because it's not watertight, boom, now you got a problem with corrosion at the connecting point. And that's what's happening with some of the old cameras. So I pointed that out to him, and we went and got some they're just plain electrical boxes, don't have any knockouts on them, no holes drilled, no nothing. Has it's solid PVC plastic, gray plastic, and you drill the hole in there for what you need, where you need it and everything. So we got those, and I got these, they're, I refer to them as compression fittings, because what it does is you push your wire through the hole in the rubber sleeve in there, and then you tighten the nut down, it compresses and seals it up around the wire. And that keeps the bugs out, that helps keep the moisture out, that kind of stuff. And then we just drill another hole through the cover, screw the camera to the cover, and the connections are all inside the box. Then looks a lot better, and bugs and water ain't getting in there, so you're good there. And once he saw what I was looking at doing, what I was pointing out to him, he's like, "Yeah, we're doing that." So we got rid of all the cheap electrical junction boxes that looked horrible and put those up, and it does look a lot better. And then we just take some cable anchors, and all it is a little plastic U-channel where you stick yours after you've anchored it to the wall with it, whatever you're using. You just slide a zip tie through this two little openings in there, put your wires up there, and zip tie it up, and it holds it up. But it's going to be on the underside of an overhang, and instead of having one for each cable, we're just running up to, I think I can run up to 5 on one of those. And then it gets kind of bulky, and you have to start another one up. And I'm running 5 cables on the one already, and it looks good. It's going to work. So we're going to try and do that with as few of those as possible. Because he wants it to look very nice. He doesn't want it to be just nasty like it used to be. And the way the guy who owned the motel before them, he put the guy who owned it before the guy who owns it now, that guy's manager put the cameras up there, but he ran the cabling all over the roof, and it looked horrible. No conduit, no nothing. And the sun beating down ate up the wires and all sorts of bad stuff. So the way we're doing it now, it'll hold up. The way mine are being done over here is the wires are on the roof, but they're in conduit. So they're protected from the elements, which is a good thing. But anyway, this guy here, he's paying me decent money for doing the work. It took me a little bit longer than expected because of the back surgery I had. That was kind of a pain in the rear. Uh, it it kind of took me out of commission almost for a few days. Uh, see, I had that on a Wednesday. Thursday, I didn't. After I got home Wednesday, I didn't do anything. Thursday, I we loaded up her power chair into the van and took it out to Livermore to a friend of hers because they're going to borrow it for a little while because they're going to the Disney World or something like that. And the one lady, she just physically couldn't do it. She's massively overweight and has a bad knee, I think it was. She has some issues, and it's some of it's her own doing, but some of it's not. The weight, in a way, it's her doing. In a way, it's not. She can't seem to lose the weight, so she's fighting with that. But all that combined, and she wanted to go with the her daughter and granddaughters to Disney World. So we set them up where they could use that. Um, Came out pretty cool. It was pretty cool. But anyway, then Friday morning, I went out there and started trying to get back to work. I wasn't doing a lot really. I was doing light duty stuff because physically my body just, because of the incisions, I couldn't do the movements needed to do anything real serious. So for about 2 or 3 days, I really was taking it real easy. And after a few days, everything started to loosen up a little bit, and I was feeling better, and just going from there. And my back, it's doing a lot better. I'm gonna get them to add some more programs in for my back because the way they had it at first, it was beautiful. I mean, my back did not really bother me at all. And here it helps, but it's not 100%. So I'm going to find out what the changes were from what I had back then when they did the trial version and what the change is now. And I'm going to get them to add the program from back then onto my back. And then I have that. I think what they did was they did a full back stimulus, full back program where it controlled or it put the electrical impulses all the way up and down my back. I think that was what made the difference. So I'm going to see if I can't get them to add one that adds the lower two sections, and then one that adds the upper two, and maybe one that adds all three. And that way there I know what's what, and I'll know it, well, I already know what's what, but I can say, okay, well, this one's helping me the best, so this is where I'm going to run it. This spinal stimulator is god awful expensive. Okay, there's 3 key parts for it. Okay, they have what I refer to call as a puck. Okay, and it's about the size of an Oreo cookie, and it's got all the electronics part of it that controls the inside part, and that little thing that's about the size of an Oreo cookie is worth $18,000. Okay, then the wire leads that go from that and go up either side of my spine, those are like $18,000, $19,000 right there. Then this little remote they give us to control this thing with, and this is what's unbelievable. This little remote right here, $1,000 for that thing. And it's just crazy. And then, of course, because of the stimulator, it's kind of like a pacemaker. I can't go through metal detectors at all. So now, when I go to the airport, they have to do it differently. I can go through the body scanner. And they have, which is fine by me. I don't have a problem doing that. But the thing is, they don't, when they're doing the surgery, they don't have a temporary card to give you so you can turn around, and if you have to fly before they get the actual card to you, you could tell them. But TSA actually right now, they're doing pretty good about this with people that are doing this. I guess they're aware of it, but when you inform them, look, I just had this stimulator implant, I cannot go through a metal detector because of it. Here's the equipment that I have to carry with me. They're aware of it, and then they understand they will let us go through there. But you have to have the equipment, you have to show that it's connected. The remote, the way it works, you have to have it within like a foot, maybe 18 inches of the part that's inside me for it to work. It'll come on, but it won't connect to it. So if TSA was questioning, they're like, well, how do we know you've got that in you? Then I can say, well, number one, here's why. And I can show them, and then they're like, oh, and they can understand this. It's a very uncomfortable feeling to have to go through that sometimes. The wounds, from the incisions, they're healing pretty good. They used, on me, which is kind of weird, on mine, they used the, what would you call it? They used the surgical adhesive, the surgical glue, liquid stitch, whatever you want to call it, okay, and glued everything closed. I don't think they put sutures on either one, but on her, when they did hers, they gave her stitches. Same doctor, same crew, everything. We see the same people. So, just kind of weird. We don't understand what happened there, but when they did the initial one, when they did trial version, this was so weird, okay? What they do is they try to put you halfway to sleep. Okay, you're not really out of it fully, but you're not fully awake either. You're out enough you don't know what they're doing. In my case, I was awake through the whole thing. Okay, so I didn't really feel that too much. But it didn't hurt. It didn't bother me. So I was like, okay, when they realized I was awake, they're like, oh, you're supposed to have been asleep part way. No. So this time here, when they were doing the procedure, they had to put me to sleep. I was gone. I remember getting in the room, laying down on the table, and them giving me the rest of what they called the joy juice, okay, which is what basically put me under. They gave me half the syringe before I got in there, while I was in the intake area, wheeled me in there on a bed, on my bed, to the outside the room. I walked in the room and moved to the other table, or I got onto the table and got laid out, and then he gave me the other half, and then less than 30 seconds, I was gone. Next thing I remember is starting to wake up in recovery area, and the guy who programs it is standing there, and I wasn't even wide awake. And he programmed it. That was the last day he was working that region. He's working another region now. And it was late and everything. And he was kind of in a hurry to get going, so, because it was so late and traffic's bad over there in that area. So he's like, I was too far out of it to communicate properly. So I wasn't able to communicate with him and tell him to add these other things on here. So all he programmed was where I could feel it. But because of that, I can't run that up where it does any kind of pain relief, because the tingling sensation makes me nauseous at that point. I mean, it's just too much. So we immediately got a hold of the other guy who is still working the area, and we met with them the next day or 2 days later or something like that, and they programmed more modes into it where I don't feel it. And all it is a change in the frequency of what's being delivered. And it actually it helps, but it's not the same as when I did the trial. But it's still good. So I'm happy with it. I've noticed that while this is reaching 11.8 megabytes a second, my YouTube quality kind of drops down. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. Let me see if I can get full screen again on YouTube, and let's see, bad video settings. So that's all it is. Okay, so already been an hour-long video, and realistically, I'm just trying to do stuff that helps out with this, and so far it's been good. .5, 10.4. For whatever reason, it does not like. There we go. Do that. See if that helps any. Get you back on half screen. There we go. What I'm doing is I'm changing stuff around a little bit. And I might go ahead and stop the stream for now. And once this is finished downloading, go ahead and bring it back up, bring y'all back in as part 2. So, because it's going to take probably another 20 minutes. 20 to 45, probably no more than 45 minutes. So, I'm going to go ahead and stop this stream from here for now, and I will be coming back in a little bit and giving you a chance to see what it's like. This game here that I'm doing, it's keyboard based. You aren't using your mouse really, you're using your keyboard. Your mouse, you use it to do certain things there, but that's how it works. It's cool. If I was really heavy into gaming, I would definitely start doing some live streams on that. But I don't do too much streaming, so what the heck. And I think I'm gonna, while waiting on this, I'm gonna put me something cold or something to drink in the refrigerator to get it cold, because I'm thirsty and I have nothing cold to drink down here right this minute. So drink one and get one cold. This refrigerator that's behind me that I just put that in, it has had some issues of its own. The defrost timer motor died on me. Now, because of that, I kept having problems with it freezing up. And it didn't take long for it to freeze up. So, what I did was I went ahead and changed some stuff. I had to get a defrost timer motor, and those aren't too cheap normally, but if you look on eBay, you're going to find one at a decent price. That one was like, I don't know, $12 is what I paid for it on eBay. And literally, I had it in like 2 days. I just messaged the seller and said, hey, look, here's what I need, here's why I need it, and here's why I need it fast as possible. And they had it to me in 2 days. So I do have to give it to them. They did good. I do a lot of shopping on eBay because of that. Just because they give you such good prices, and generally you have a good experience with them. But yeah, let me go ahead and end this video, this live stream for now, and I will bring you all back here in a little bit once this gets done downloading. Peace.